Chechnya is a Caucasus people's land. It's in the southern west region of Russia. It's right above Georgia, as you can see right here. I displayed a map, and Azerbaijan. They're their own people with their own customs. Chechnya is a beautiful land with beautiful customs, but it wasn't always like that. I have some prior knowledge about Chechnya due to some of my favorite fighters from being there. So I know a little bit about it from before, and I was able to learn more throughout this research. Now, Chechnya wasn't always, well, it's a war-torn country, basically. It just got out of war, and they're still developing. And through their customs and culture, this just shows the power and strength of the Chechens. Now, in this presentation, I'm going to explain the culture of Chechens and how their history led to the way Chechnya is today. Now, the past battles of Chechnya. Chechnya was made by a person named Dozakhar Dudayev. He was a person that made it an independent state from Russia. Now, Chechnya has been at war with Russia for 20 years. Yeah, it's been going back and forth due to their cultural differences with the Russians, even though they do speak the same language and everything, but it's just they have their differences, and that's what clashes in between, and the major one is religion. Now, the current ruler of Chechnya is Ramzan Khadriyav. He's basically labeled as a tyrant and a traitor by foreigners, but the current Chechens living there right now don't dare to say anything about him because, well, he is kind of like a dictator and they are afraid of him. He did join the Russians when Russians and the Chechens were at war. He joined the Russians because during the 1920s and 30s, according to the CCBC library database, the book Chechens basically it stated that during the 1920s and 30s, Chechens did come under the control of Russia, and the Chechen rulers were exiled and killed. So out of fear, he joined the Russians. Now, at that point, many of the Chechens, some of them became freedom fighters and terrorists. Basically, they fought for themselves. They didn't have a strong ruler. They were basically just fighting for their country. Now, many war crimes were done by them, and basically because they didn't have any knowledge of what war crimes were, they just wanted their land, they wanted to be separate from Russia. They wanted this war to end. Now, yeah, the war has been going on for 20 years, and the flag has been changed 8 times. As you can see in the first slide, this is the flag, the modern day flag. The flag changed because Chechnya was under the control of Soviet Russia, then out, then under, then out. Now they're fully free. The war officially ended in 2009. Yes, just recently. Now, the Chechens have their own customs. Their Caucasus people and the surrounding countries also have similar customs and cultures, but what makes them different is their religious beliefs, and their cultural beliefs are somewhat very unique. Now, the major religion is Islam. Many Chechens during the rule of the Russians, they did turn atheist because, well, the Russians were not really religious in that type. They praised their, rulers. They didn't have a god or some spiritual, being to look up to. And as you can see, I labeled that over here too. Many Chechens did turn into atheists. But now, as Chechens are regaining their culture and traditions after the war, they're finally healing. Many of them are reconverting. There's many mosques now. Many mosques were destroyed during the rule of the Russian period, but now everything's regaining its original platform. Now, their popular sport type is combat sports: sambo, judo, and wrestling. Almost every boy goes through a course of wrestling. And there are some famous wrestlers, two by the name of, one is named Kazmat Chimaev, and one is Yusuf Raisa. They're wrestlers. I was inspired with them. As you can see, I'm wearing a Warriors Wrestling shirt because I also joined wrestling due to, I was inspired by them. Now, there are gender-specified activities. The women do not, they stand up when a man enters the room, and the men do not make eye contact with the woman at all. And there's no system of like friendships between men and women. And basically, it's arranged marriages there. It's a very traditional, tribalistic type. Well, it's just their own. They're not as modern as they're, and also like in terms of that, I mean like the LGBTQ community isn't accepted here. They're very like they're still developing, you can say, due to their they've had a rough past, so they're still developing, and they do have a traditional dance. It is I was going to practice it to show you guys for the presentation, but when I tried, it is extremely difficult to do. So I displayed a video in the next slide, and you guys can see how it is. Yeah, that's the end of the slide. Now, Chechnya is a beautiful place to still visit. It is amazing. It's just now the traditions are being healed again, and there's when a country goes through something like that, it's extremely hard for them to recover. But they are trying their best. That shows the strength of the Chechens, and they're still progressing. It's now fully safe to visit Chechnya, and the Chechens are fully welcoming. And yeah, that's I hope you guys learned something about Chechnya today, and thank you.